world is full of tales about giants and colossal beasts from a bygone era. But what happens when these massive creatures are proven to be more than just myth? From the Canadian lake monster terrorizing locals to giants walking along the seashore, here are 30 largest cryptids and creatures ever caught on camera. Part 4. Seeing a squid or even a whale wash up on the shore is shocking for most people. But what these folks witnessed at the beach was beyond their wildest imaginations because the creature they saw wasn't even meant to be real. It looked like a woman tangled in a net, but as they got closer, they realized this thing had a fishtail instead of legs. They'd just seen a mermaid, but they weren't ready for what was about to happen once they touched it. It wasn't dead, it was still alive and kicking, and these people had no idea what to do now. The second they tried to free it, however, the terrifying mythological creature sprang into action. In March 2024, a trail cam that was set up to record wildlife in a Congolese forest spotted something that wasn't meant to be there. And as the footage rolled forward, reality dawned on the rangers that the forest held secrets they'd never known. A long neck emerged into frame from behind the bushes, and what followed was perhaps even more surprising. A bulky body, almost resembling a dinosaur, was slowly making its way through the darkness. Many people believe this could be the Mokelembembe, a mythical herbivore described in the folklore of the Congo River Basin. And after seeing this footage, it may not be mythical anymore. Camping in the woods with your friends sounds like a wonderful time. But what these folks witnessed outside their cabin left them scarred for life because what they thought was a wild dog turned out to be something much scarier.
Dude, do you see that? No, dude, what the heck is that? No, dude, you see that? Oh my god. Dude, Bryson.
Their trip quickly turned into a total nightmare when the shadowy creature suddenly stood up on its hind legs and started walking like a human. The next thing they knew, it was headed straight for them, and they had to take action.
See that? No way. What is that? Ellie, come on, come on.
The following footage comes from Lake Nahuel Huapi in Argentina, where some friends were taking in the views on their boat when they were interrupted by strange ripples in the water, almost as if something big was approaching them. They had no idea what creature could have made such big waves, not to mention it was slowly moving closer. What really terrified them, however, was the black fin that rose from the water. By that point, they were sure this wasn't just a big fish. This had to be Nahuelito, a long-necked monster that had been terrorizing people visiting the lake for centuries. And these folks were just the latest bunch to cross its path.
No, se perdió. Mierda hecho.
Sometimes, you don't even have to go into the woods to find supernatural phenomena, because sometimes, the nightmare comes to your doorstep, and when it knocks, you better not answer. This person had been hearing commotion outside their window for days, so when they set up a camera at night, they were expecting to see an intruder trying to break in. What they actually saw in the footage, however, shocked them to their core. A massive, hairy creature peered into the house with its glowing eyes. It almost looked humanoid in its appearance, but it was not from this world. And while many people think this was Bigfoot, others claim this man was visited by a dog man. In February 2016, a man was out camping in a creek near Molchen, Chile, when he noticed a strange object moving through the water. He quickly got his phone out to record, and what he captured left everyone questioning their reality. The dark shadow sat just below the shallow water, with a silhouette that looked like a horseshoe. He first thought it could be a stingray or a jellyfish, but those creatures didn't exist in the area. What happened next, however, caught him completely by surprise. Out of nowhere, the creature spurted out a mass of water all across its body, almost as if it knew it had been detected and needed a defense mechanism. However, the silhouette didn't disappear. It stayed there, menacingly, waiting for the man to go away. The following footage comes from Romania, where a man got a motion notification for his security camera right before dawn. Expecting to see a stray dog passing by, he checked the footage. But little did he know that he was about to see something truly terrifying. The video showed a hunched-over figure slowly approaching his car. It was hard to make out, and could have been an animal or even a druggie. When he zoomed in, however, he realized this was something else entirely. It was the most bizarre thing he'd ever seen. The creature had no clear torso or head. It all looked like a mangled mess walking on two legs, and the closer he looked, the worse it got. In the remote green countryside, a person filming the landscape spots something in the distance. Expecting to see a horse or grazing cattle, they keep filming, but as they zoom in, they realize they've just seen something unbelievable. A white horse-like creature grazes in the field, but it has one feature that defies all logic: a single horn growing from its head. And while everything tells us it can't be real, the proof is undeniable. This is a real-life unicorn walking among us. In August 2016, a tourist in a Brazilian desert witnessed something that had no rhyme or reason. He knew no one would believe him, so he whipped out his camera and filmed the scene in front of him. And what he captured was extremely disturbing.
Caralho, velho. Puta, onde que tá agora, pô? Olha lá, olha.
The video showed a strange bipedal creature slowly walking across the desert landscape. It was hard to make out at first, and it could have been a person. However, there was something off about its proportions, almost as if it didn't belong to this world. It's not like the creature was walking out in the middle of nowhere. At first glance, it seemed to be walking towards a building site nearby. But no mythical creature has long limbs and a lanky appearance like this. So what could it be? This trail cam footage was captured in 2023. and it sent social media users into a frenzy as it showed one of the most bizarre things ever captured. A hunched-over creature slowly crawling forward into total darkness.
This trail cam footage was uploaded to social media and has viewers puzzled. A tall, thin creature crosses the landscape, crawling.
The creature had humanoid proportions, with a lanky build and long legs. However, it was still hunched over on all fours, menacingly moving forward like it was hunting. Many thought this could be a mimic, while others were convinced it was a rake.
It appears to have a very small head, a long, slender back that's hunched over, and it creeps across the snow taking long strides.
In 2011, a utility company was running a routine sewer inspection and recording the brick-lined pipe. But while they expected to see blockages or structural issues, they actually stumbled upon something truly unsettling. As the inspector progressed through the damp tunnel, he spotted a pair of glowing eyes staring back at him from around the corner. It was a creature, and whatever it wasn't meant to be there. The inspector stood firm, hoping to get a clearer glimpse of the creature, and that's when it happened. A large, slender figure emerged from the corner, clear for everyone to see. The inspector knew he had to move, and that's what he did. In Libya, a group of farmers was working in the fields late at night when they had the most terrifying experience of their lives as strange humanoid creatures descended upon them and gave them a look at the extraterrestrial.
The
creatures seemed to have passed out in the field, and thinking they could be human, the people helped them. However, that may have been a big mistake because months later, another similar incident occurred in the region, except that this time, the creatures were awake. In 2012, people hanging out near an Icelandic lake noticed a disturbance in the water. It looked like debris, but the more it moved, the less natural it appeared. But things really went south when the mass took shape into a serpent. The worm-like creature moved with deliberate motions, cutting through the water and wiggling its way across the lake. What really made this scary, however, was the sheer size of the creature, as it must have been at least 20 feet long. It picked up pace in a straight line and slowed down to turn like it knew where it was going. And while some people thought it could have been a submerged tree carrying debris, others were convinced this was a lake monster. Most people believe mythical creatures aren't real, but what if someone told you these creatures roam among us in plain sight? And sometimes they're so good at hiding that you need to seek them out. Take this one, for instance.
مقاطع الفيديوهات التي توضح المنشور الذي نشرناه قبل هذا عن حقيقة وجود جنيات الغرب.
This is a fairy, which, according to folklore, can disguise itself as a butterfly. However, it's not as cute as it's been depicted in the media because reality is often far more terrifying than our imagination.
لا يسعنا أن ننشرها جميعا. فاخترنا لكم هذه المجموعة مشاهدة ممتعة للجميع.
With a humanoid figure and butterfly wings, this may not be the biggest creature in the world, but its strange proportions and erratic movement make it one of the scariest cryptids in existence. The footage starts with a group of teenagers finding an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere and heading into it for an adventure. Little do they know, however, that they're heading into dangerous territory. They scour through the cabin and don't find anything substantial. The broken walls, the grimy ceiling, it all seems perfectly normal. However, this house holds a terrifying truth they are yet to discover. The place is destroyed, but something's off. It seems like someone's been living there, and as soon as they decide to take a peek downstairs in the basement, it all kicks off. Some people think there are creatures roaming among us that not everyone can see. But for those who possess the supernatural ability to see things beyond the veil, the world turns into a total nightmare. Take this person, for instance. People near the Russian apartment complex have no idea what they're living with, but this one person has managed to capture it for everyone to see. A spider-like creature, which is the size of a building, crawls across the surface like it's nothing. In Gainesville, Texas, a man set up a trap in the woods to catch the beast attacking cattle at his ranch. What he ended up catching, however, was beyond anything he could have imagined.
Dad?
I'm not gonna get close to it.
The man's kids were adamant they just caught a chupacabra. And while he figured it was a coyote, there was something different about it because not only did it have no hair on its lower body, but it also had a strangely curved spine.
We've got to decide if we're gonna let him go, what we're gonna do with him. But
We have to let him go. You didn't bring your gun. We're gonna let him
Many people think a chupacabra is a subspecies of a coyote or a dog, so there's every possibility that the legends were exaggerated. And this is what a chupacabra actually looks like.
We're gonna let him go.
I don't know. It's an interesting creature. So, just to let
On the 5th of August, 2020, people in a Chinese city had a collective experience. One that was unlike anything they'd witnessed before, and one that changed their lives forever, because they witnessed a massive creature flying across the skyline. The fiery display left everyone stunned as a building was demolished in front of them. However, it was the flying creature emerging from destruction that caught everyone's eyes. And the fact that there were multiple witnesses made it more believable. In the majority of the videos, the flying dragon looked like a speck in the sky. Something that could be easily debunked. But one person managed to record it from up close, giving us our closest look yet at a real dragon. In Canada, a couple was sailing through the Okanagan Lake on their last trip of the season when they spotted something strange in the water. At first it looked like a log, but when they zoomed in with their camera, things started appearing differently.
Down into the water, but didn't look quite right.
That's when they snapped a photo.
It wasn't until we got home, we got looking at it and zoomed in on it that we were like,
Puzzled.
the horns are three.
The creature had horn-like tendrils sticking out of its head, rising above the water's surface. And according to them, it was at least 20 feet long. From the front, it almost looked like a wolf with its ears sticking out. But they knew it was something else.
And then it goes out from there.
And, it would have been that big. And that's why I thought if it was Ogopogo sleeping.
Experts swooped in to investigate the couple's photo. And according to them, This was likely the Ogopogo lake monster, a mythical creature with a sheep-like head and a snake-like body.
I've seen before because you immediately see the horns. In a lot of classic depictions of lake monsters, people will note horns of some type. At first glance,
the following footage comes from a trail cam set up in rural Mexico, where people reported seeing strange animals after midnight. But while there was no proof for the longest time, this video gives us our clearest look yet.
Los más escépticos dicen que se trata de algún tipo de primate. Sin embargo, es demasiado obvio. Se trata de una especie de nave.
According to locals, these creatures are witches known as nagels that run around like animals at night and steal people's belongings to use for hexes later. But it's the way they move that really makes them look unsettling. The nagels have a humanoid appearance, but sometimes they wear full animal hides to blend in with the wildlife. So, are these actually the mythical witches, or are they just animals? In the Philippines, a security camera captured one of the strangest things ever caught on camera as a person appeared to walk right through a locked gate in the blink of an eye. But this was no magic trick. This thing was real. The people in the footage argued amongst themselves, confirming that the gate was padlocked and made of steel. So there was no way through it. So how did the person pass it? Well, they thought they just captured a ghost on camera. What made this incident even scarier, however, was the fact that the ghastly figure kept walking forward into the light without hesitation and gave everyone a clear look at its appearance. In May 2019, a man noticed a loud noise coming from behind his house, almost like a dog's howl. When he went downstairs to record from his window, however, he realized this was no dog. It was something much more dangerous. The leaves outside his house rustled as the creature slowly approached the camera. It had dark fur and a dog-like body. But as it got closer, reality dawned on the man that this thing had a human-like body. He was sure he'd just seen a real-life werewolf. In 2012, an ROV was navigating the deep ocean, inspecting a mining rig, when something truly extraordinary entered the frame and caught everyone off guard. But while it was incredible, they had no idea what they were looking at. The creature was absolutely massive, drifting into view and engulfing the entire frame within seconds. It looked like a giant jellyfish or a siphonophore, but it had a translucent, otherworldly presence, like it was alien. It was the most bizarre thing they'd ever seen, flowing gracefully like a large piece of cloth. But it was very much alive and had intricate patterns and organs glowing inside its body, likely making it a deep steria jellyfish. Speaking of deep-sea oddities, a team of researchers was exploring the ocean floor near Sagami Bay in 2010 and filming marine life when their attention was quickly taken away by a gigantic creature lurking in the background. They quickly moved the ROV to take a closer look, and what they found left them completely stunned because it was unlike anything they'd seen before. Its body seemed to be made of glass fibers, and it had a strange dolphin-like head with glowing eyes. They even compared it to a gigantic frog on the sea floor, but there was no real explanation for it, other than the fact that it could have been a strangely shaped rock because it didn't move. However, its eerie appearance still left everyone scratching their heads. Mythical creatures didn't just start appearing out of nowhere over the past few years. Even back in the day, people reported seeing supernatural phenomenon around them. Take this Bigfoot footage from 1967, for example. Back then, even recording normal video was difficult, so there is no way footage like this could be faked. Many claimed a man wore a Bigfoot costume and recorded this, but no such evidence was found. What's more, the creature in the footage is much larger than a human. In fact, according to estimates, it had to be at least 10 feet tall. And to this day, even after 60 years, no one has been able to debunk this video. In August 2024, a group of locals in the Philippines was filming the coastline when their attention was suddenly captured by a towering silhouette lurking in the distance amongst the rock formations.
Not one, but two giants. Now, as they're panning to these entities and recording them, there's something off about them. Some are claiming that they're giants.
As they zoomed in for a closer look, the mysterious shape resolved into a tall, slender figure that was much taller than anything they'd seen before. At first, they thought it could be a man, but after seeing the size, they were convinced this was something else. They thought they were hallucinating as they looked at the giant dominating the coastline. However, just when reality was settling in, they spotted a second figure crouched near another rock formation. In yet another unsettling encounter in the Philippines, a man finds himself in a rural landscape, fully convinced that he has just spotted a mythical creature hiding in the trees around him, and he thinks he's being watched.
Saan ang kapatong sa lubig? Oh. Guys, kanina nilihok na siya, guys. Sayo po bang kayo? Unsa man?
He zooms his camera toward a canopy of palm trees where a dark shape seems to be clinging to a trunk. It's difficult to see, but its presence is undeniable. According to locals, the creature is about 4 meters tall and looks like a small person without legs.
Ayo, unsa man ang kitaan dere ay? Adlok bud mi ani ay. Sayo po kay guys, unsa na siya? Oh.
Called an aswang, the creature jumps between trees and makes a tick sound like a bird. What makes it truly unsettling, however, is the fact that it remains perched on the tree, observing its surroundings, and maybe preparing itself to attack.
Gawid siya, mukuyawan man sa tanam, mura po siya katanaw na mo, o buhok. Katanaw siya na mo guys, di maklaro yung no.
In 2023, a man got a security camera alert on his phone, with motion detected in his backyard. But never in a million years did he anticipate finding what he was about to witness in the footage recorded by his camera. A shadowy creature was running around the area, almost like an excited dog. And it looked like one too, except that it was the size of a bear. But was it actually just an animal that had wandered into his backyard, or did he see a real-life dogman?